Hi, welcome to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. I'm Callum and today I'll be showing you the handover demonstration on a brand new Auto Trail Tribute F72. So walking around the vehicle, the first side we'll start on is the driver's side. So as you know, we've got the vehicle hooked up and this is the mains connectivity point. So with the hooker bleed, what you need to do is you get your hooker bleed, lift it up and slide on like so. Always hook the vehicle up first and then go to your power source, and obviously do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle once you're ready to leave your site. And then you do have your water filler, so you can lock this with a small key, and in there there's a small key here, just a little, and you put your hose pipe into the groove here and fill it until it either overflowed or until you're happy there's enough water on board. You can see on the main control panel above the fridge, which I'll show you inside, how much water is on board at any one time. And then should you want to empty that fresh water, i.e. in the winter you've taken out contaminated water or you're just not using the van for a couple of weeks, you just open it here, and as you can see it'll start to drain. You've also got your vent for your heating fumes. So you've got one at the front, which is also next to your wastewater. So should you have anything that goes down a plug hole, goes into here, and you'll just turn and open there. So you can open and drain off. Obviously in the winter it's very important that you drain the fresh, the waste and the boiler, which I'll show you from inside how to do the boiler. But that's just the fumes from the water heater, and this is just the fumes from the space heater, which is the heating. LPG, which is your liquid petroleum gas, so this is a gas locker, and again all the lockers outside open with the black headed key, and obviously water opens and closes with the chrome key. In here you can fit two 6 kilogram gas bottles, which are propane, and you would just use the tie downs and tie the bottle in when it's in. And then what you will need is you'll need an either adjustable spanner or a gas wrench, and it's a left hand thread with it being gas as its opposite threads, and then you just need to nip it up, turn the bottle on and off from the top. Normally a full turn is good enough, as in an event of an accident one full turn off is better than turning a couple of times. And then you do have this black button here, which is your gas release for your crash valve. You press that once you've turned the bottle on and it allows the gas into the vehicle. Coming further down the back of the vehicle, you do have your two fridge vents. And then you do have your locker underneath your rear lounge there. I'll just open it. And as you can see, you've got another storage locker door on that side to access things that side, and then you've got your carpets, your silver screens and your other bits and pieces in there, which is this is your storage. Coming around the back of the vehicle, you've got your high level brake light and bullet style reverse camera, and then you've got your two bike rack rails. So this is where the body has been strengthened to take a bike rack in the factory, and then you would just get your bike rack to connect into there. On the other side, exactly the same as on the driver's side, as we are now on the passenger side of the vehicle. So you've just got storage, external gas point. So instead of carrying a spare bottle for your barbecue, you can connect the barbecue to the motorhome to run off the main bottle that's on the other side of the vehicle. So your two 6 kilogram bottles you've got on. So attached to it with the cable tie is a gas spigot. So you need to push this end into some gas hose and pipe, which is orange. Put a Jubilee clip on, slot it in there, and then connect your other end to a Kadak or your external barbecue. And then you do have your cassette loo, so this is your locker door for your toilet. And then what you do is you unscrew the top and expose it like so. Go to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside the toilet block. You do have a handle there so you can drag it instead of carrying it when full. And then what you do is you press the blue button. Some other buttons can be orange, but this one's blue. Press, empty it out, tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, you've put some water in and you give it a quick rinse, tip out again, and then you'd use the cap, which goes on here, as a measurement. So you'd put a cap full of liquid into the cap, pour it straight down the spout, and then secure the cap back on. That's if you're using the liquid form of chemical. If you're using the tablet form, you'd put a pint of fresh water back into the cassette, and then what you would do is you'd push the cassette back into the vehicle, and then you drop one down the toilet into the cassette and it will break down. On the bowl of the toilet you have a blade. If the blade is open, the cassette won't come out, it must be closed, but I'll show you that from inside. And then your habitation door is on the central locking with this model. So you've got, opens the cab, locks all the doors and opens the back door. As you can hear, it's chirping away there, and it will also bring the step in and out. But the switch is here, so you can take the step in and you can bring the step out. And then you do have a full fly screen on the habitation door, as well as a blackout blind on the window of the door. If you did want to lock the door manually, you would just push this chrome catch in and you'll hear it chirp again, and obviously this will lock this door from the inside, but you can do it just on the central locking. Now coming to the front of the cab on the passenger side, so with it being on a Ford Transit, this is where you fill up with diesel and you've got your AdBlue. So your diesel is a capless system, so you don't have to take the cap off, you just push the diesel filler straight into there and fill till it stops, or until you want to stop filling. And then you do have your AdBlue. So with it being a Euro 6D compliant engine, it does take AdBlue for the emissions. So a full tank of AdBlue, which is 20 litres, which the tank is 20 litres, so a full tank will get you 5,500 miles. So you will get an indication on the dash when it needs it. It'll say AdBlue level life, and it'll give you a mileage countdown. Don't let the countdown go right at the bottom, because it won't start the engine and you will have to call a mechanic out to get it started. Bring it down so much and then top it up as soon as the light comes on. And then if we just have a look underneath the bonnet with the key in a second, but your leisure battery lives underneath the passenger seat. So now underneath the bonnet, so with it being a Ford, you put the key into the front, you turn it to the left to release the bonnet, which pops it, and then to release it from the secondary catch, you turn it to the right and it releases further. And then if we just have a quick look, so red plus is your positive point for a jump start, so you put your positive or your jump pack onto there, and then you'd earth off the engine hoist here, which is the loop. And then you do have your radiator fluid, you've got your brake fluid there, your oil, which has got castor oil on, so you know that's your oil filler, and your oil dipstick. And then the main one you're going to need, which is your screen wash. And on the front here you do have your weight, so this is a secondary stage conversion by Auto Trail. You've got your chassis number of the Ford cab, 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight, which means it can be driven on any license. And then if you did want to tow, it can tow a ton behind it, which takes the motorhome, and whatever you're towing can't exceed 4.5 ton. If you did want the chassis number, it's also displayed on the window there as well. Now inside the vehicle, above the fridge at the back of the vehicle, next to the kitchen, is your main control panel. So when you come on board, you'll want to turn on first. So this button here turns on the power. It'll either give you 12 volt if you're not hooked up, or if you are hooked up and on mains, you will get 240 volt, and obviously your 3-pin plugs on board will work. If not, they won't, because it's just 12 volt. And then below you've got your lights. So this is your master switch for all your lights, and then they all are individually switched around the van. And then you've got your pump, which should you have sufficient water, you can turn your pump on. and then when you do open the tap, you'll get a flow of water like so. If you don't have any water on, don't put the pump on, as it can burn the motor out. And then up this side, on the right hand side, you do have your awning light, which is the light on above the habitation door. And then if you click here, you can go through the menu. So if I take you to the start first, it will give you a sergeant control panel reading, and then it will tell you your leisure battery reading and your vehicle battery reading and your fresh and waste water. So at the moment we've got 25% of fresh on board and 0 waste, and that is your main control panel. If I go on to these are your new wheel heat air control panel. So what you need to do is just move your hand over them, because you don't touch them. You wake them up by moving your hand over them, and then as you can see, you've got one that shows heat and one that shows water. So this is your water and this is your heating the vehicle. So you've got a plus and a minus on the heating. Obviously full is 30 degrees, half is about 15, and then you've got a gas flame, so you can turn the gas on. So if it's blue, it means the gas is on standby, and if it goes to orange, it means it's received gas and the gas is working. And then on the electric side, you've got 3 little dots above the electric, which is the various sources. So you've got the first dot, which is 750, which is a 6 amp connection, and then you've got 1050 watt, which is a 10 amp connection, and then you've got 3000 watt, which is a 16 amp connection. So depending on what power source your site gives you, you can adjust the heating, or you can have the heating, and so you can have the gas and the electric on the heating together, which obviously doubles the heating time, reduces it down and brings the vehicle up to temperature quicker. And then at the bottom here, if you do get a warning triangle, you can reset the system. And then it's the same for the hot water, so you just turn it on, and obviously you've got your gas on, so there it's obviously received gas and it's on. And then you can put it on either 750, which is 6 amp, 1050, which is 10 amp, or 3000 watt, which is 16 amp on the electric side. And again, you can have the gas and electric on together to double the heating time. And then to operate your bed, so you've got a drop down bed on this model. You turn the key on to the on position and then hold down, and the bed will come down like so. So it comes down all the way like so, and then you do have ladder, which is just in the front there, or could be stored underneath your seats at the back. And you've got your mattress, but you'll also notice you've got these nets, which are for young children to stop falling out in the night, and these clip on. So you've got your straps here, which just clip directly into the ceiling, and you've got them both sides there. In the front, if you remove all the cushions from the rear forward facing seats, just in here is your EC176 power supply unit. So if you do trip the vehicle out, you want to come here, because your fuses are in this side. So you've got all your RCDs, your trip tester and your MCB, and then you do have all your 12 volt fuses this side, so it would be a good idea to carry some spares. You've also got your system shutdown button, which if you're leaving the vehicle parked up in the winter and you don't want a power drain, you can turn that off. But once you turn that off and you take the vehicle for a run, if your reversing camera doesn't come on, that's normal, because this actually supplies power to the reversing camera from this module. You've also got a heater and a charger switch, which this just works on 240, so these will only work when you're plugged in, so just leave them as they are. But all the fuses are listed here for what ampage does what supply. And then this is the Infill cushions, so the cushions which are your base, your backrest from here, and your base cushions and your backrest from there into position to make a small or a reasonable size single bed there. And then if we just lift the cushions off, I'll show you where the boards go and how to make the bed assembly up. So first of all, you want to take these two press studs off here, which releases this seat to fold forward. And then you do have your backrest, which clips over there. So you'll find this on the backrest. So if you just undo this turnbuckle, you'll be able to release that. And as you can see in here, you do have your leisure battery, fuses, and your toolkit for your Ford. And then this enables this to slide back and forth, and you do have a slide hole there and a leg. So you can see there's your leg, so you'd slide it forward and drop the leg down for added support. And then you've got these bed boards, which you'll find in your wardrobe, which go onto the seat there, and you would slide this one forward to make that up as well. And then the big board, which is the board that makes your U-shaped lounge, is at the back as well. So there is the big board, which you'd remove this should you have passengers in the back wanting to travel. You'd remove this board to allow them to put their feet down. But that's how you make the bed up on the F72, and that folds away like so, so it can be stored in the wardrobe area. And then located underneath the flap in the far left hand corner of the travelling seat at the back, you do have your boiler. So if you just remove that small section there, you can see there's your boiler drain. When it's across the vehicle, it is holding water. It needs to be turned, so you just turn it like so, and you hear the water spewing out the bottom, pointing to the front of the vehicle, and it will drain the boiler off. It's very important that you drain your boiler off and any water out of the vehicle in the winter time or when you're not using it, just to stop frost damage. Because if it was to be frost damage that caused an issue, it isn't covered under warranty, as it's your responsibility to winterize the vehicle. So especially in the winter, drain all the water out, the fresh, the waste, the boiler, then proceed to open all your taps within the vehicle, just to allow any airlock and any water that's situated in the pipes to drain out. Also, I would advise removing your shower head and allowing the shower hose to lie in the shower tray, just to allow any water to proceed out the pipe. And located next to the boiler in the other section underneath the seat, you have a small fuse spur at the back, which you can see by the red light indicating. This is your 240 side to your boiler, which then is controlled from the wheel heat air controls from above the fridge. So this just allows the 240 side to work, so you can turn that on or off. I would just advise leaving that on all the time, and it'll only kick in when the vehicle is hooked up on the 240 side. So in the kitchen area on the Tribute F72, you do have your sink with cover, and then obviously you've got your hot water there. So should the water have been on, that'll get lovely and hot like it is there. It gets very hot, as you can see. And then you do have 3 gas burner rings, which you just push down and ignite like so. And below you've got your fed duplex oven and grill. So just a tip, remove your grill pan and oven shelves when travelling, or wrap them in a tea towel, as this can be the main cause of the noise. And then when you do put your oven shelves back in, make sure that the V shape is at the back, as this stops any trays getting blocked over the burner when cooking. And you do have a oven and grill with ignition there. And then underneath you've got a storage, and you've got your gas taps. So gas taps are mainly for when the vehicle is serviced. A technician will test that the gas is working to the NCC approved standards by turning the gas valves off and doing a gas test. Should you have any problems with gas, turn off at the bottle. just to be safe.
Is that on or off there now?
And then you do have a few more underneath the fridge, which I'll get onto in a second. And then in this cupboard, underneath your sink, you've got your pull-out cutlery drawer and storage. And then this little section just gives you access to your heating duct pipes, should you ever need them. And in the cupboards above, you do have your solar charge. So this is charging your leisure battery, and you've got a switch here, so you've got up for vehicle battery, in the middle for off, and in the bottom to send the charge to the leisure battery. This model's also been fitted with the motorhome Wi-Fi, so you will get a Hawaii router to fit on there, mobile router, which connects to these points here. So these two are just for your aerial, because there's an aerial mast which makes the 4G/5G signal better. And then you do have a power lead. So with the router itself, you take it off, peel the back off the router, take the battery out, and you can put a SIM card in it. SIM cards, I would advise that you probably get a pay monthly plan through your phone provider, as you can get unlimited data for about £20 a month. You can turn on or off here, and you'll also find the passcode to your router on the back of it as well, so you can pair up to 10 devices, I believe, onto the router. And then this is just showing that the oven works. So prime it through first and then light like so. So should you have had the gas off for a long period, if you just turn it on without ignition, give it a couple of seconds and then ignite, it will light. That's the oven. And then above you've got the grill, and that's lit like so as well. To operate your Thetford fridge, so you turn on and off here, and then what you can do is if you press, it'll tell you what source you're on. If you then press the middle button, it'll start flashing if you want to change the source, and then this is when you use the arrows. So you can bring it all the way to A. A is automatic energy selection, so it'll find the best source for you. So we're hooked up now, it's going to hook up, it's turned the gas off, saving the gas. If I was to then unhook the vehicle and the gas is to be open, it would switch to gas. And then if I was to start the engine, it would go to the battery setting, and the battery setting is from a feed from the alternator, not the leisure battery, as that isn't capable of powering the fridge. And it's designed to keep the temperature as it was when departing. So with the battery setting, what I'd advise is if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, or you have got hookup at the storage yard, or you've been to site and you're ready to move off to another site, obviously you put your shopping in the night before, put it onto mains and allow it to cool down. And then if it's on automatic, as soon as you start the engine, it will then go over to battery, and it's designed just to keep the shopping fresh. So it's basically designed as a cool box, and it will keep the shopping fresh no matter how long you drive. And then you can either go onto automatic and it'll turn on to gas should you do any wild camping, or you can manually change it over by pressing hold and going up. So there's hookup, there's battery, and there's gas. On automatic, please be wary that the automatic section is programmed to wait 20 minutes on gas. So should you pull in for diesel, last thing you want is the fridge looking for gas, which it will. It's programmed to wait 20 minutes before igniting on gas to stop any fumes in the forecourt being lit by the fridge. And obviously you turn on and off, and then at the end of the season you'd clean the fridge out thoroughly. And then if you just leave the door open, ajar, and don't shut it so it allows air in and out over the winter months when in storage. Your freestanding table lives just next to the fridge, which you just slide out and open like an ironing board. You either put this at the front or the back, or of course if it's a nice day you can take it outside into your awning area. You've got a 12 volt TV point and a 230 volt socket. Push down and lift all the cupboards open, and this is storage throughout the top, so you've got 2 here and then you do have 2 at the back, and then you do have one big one on the passenger side. And open your skylight at the back, so you pull this down and then you push up, so you can have it up one end should the wind be blowing from the front, or you can have both ends open together. But obviously make sure all windows and skylights are closed securely before getting onto the road. And then you do have a blackout blind for on an evening, so you just slide this along and then just the little lug just drops into there, and that blackens the roof light off. And then in the back of the F72 you've got your U-shaped lounge. To make the bed up, you would loosen the turnbuckle off and then slide this out. It hits these 2 grooves. What you need to do is then lift the board and slide it out one further. So if you just lift the board and then push the board in on the other side of the grooves, like so. And then you would use your backrests again. A very snug fit for the cushions. They go like so to make your double bed. You can remove the cushions at the back to give you extra space towards the wall. All your individual reader lights are individually switched, and you'll notice at the back you do have 2 USBs next to this light as well. On the windows you've got these decorative blinds for privacy, and then you do have a blackout blind and a fly screen. And then open, obviously loosen the arms, push it out, and then to keep it out you tighten the black knobs on both sides, loosen them to bring the window in, and make sure it is securely fastened before you drive away. In the wardrobe you'll find your Max View Tele booster. So it's a fixed dish on the roof, so it's not a directional aerial, it's just a fixed aerial. You can turn it on and off here, and then you can boost the signal. I would leave this on all the time, and then as soon as you hit the control panel off, it'll turn the Tele booster off as well. And should you be struggling to get a signal, you can boost the signal. You'll also find your bed boards live here, and then underneath you've got storage for more clothing items. Now in the washroom, to operate your Fedford toilet, so make sure the pump's on. You'll be able to press the button and fill it with water, like so. And then, like I was saying about the blade, this is the blade here. So to deposit your waste into the cassette, you'd slide to the right. When using the toilet, I'd always flush first, which lubricates the blade, stops it sticking. Use the toilet with the blade open, then flush, slide to the left, which closes the blade, and then you are able to get the cassette out. So it's got to be shut for the cassette to come out. And it's showing green there, which means the cassette's good to use. Once that goes to red, the cassette needs changed. You've also got the same skylight as in the back with a blackout blind, and you can open each side. And then you've got toiletry cabinet here and toiletry cabinet underneath the sink. And then your shower screens are pinned back, so when travelling make sure you've got the turnbuckle over the shower screens, stop them flapping about. And then, like I was saying, undo the shower head. As you can see, the hose is up there, so any water would coil in here. Leave all the taps open and allow the shower hose to lie in the shower tray. So now in the cab, to the Right of the driver you have your handbrake, which is a fold away handbrake. So you'd lift it up, press the button in and release, which takes the handbrake off as the handbrake light's gone off, and then press in and put on and the handbrake light comes on like so. That enables the seat to turn, and to turn the seat there's a full bar for adjusting the position and a half bar which you then turn round and you can go into the back of the vehicle. On the door you do have your electric windows and your central locking, so you can press this button and that will lock the cab doors on an evening, and then you push your chrome catch on your habitation door to lock that. Or you can just press the button on the fob, up to you. Automatic lights, headlight adjustment. When the lights are on you can dim the brightness of the instrument cluster, and you've got front and rear fog lights. Mirror adjustment, wipers, indicators. This goes through the screen here, so it goes through your trips. So you've got your digital speedometer, instant fuel usage, distance to empty, which is your range, average fuel usage, mileage on the trip one, and then you do have driver assistance, so hill start. You can reset trip one, maintenance, which tells you your oil life, but don't go off this as this is a Ford. Go off the manufacturing guide of when to get the vehicle serviced, which is yearly, habitation and engine, to keep the warranty there. And then you've got your AdBlue level, so you've got 5,500 miles of AdBlue until empty, so you'll probably get 5,000 and then the AdBlue light will come on. And then on this side you do have your cruise control speed limiter, so you can cancel and reset that to either the cruise or the speed. Volume, voice command and hands-free, and skips the tracks. 6-speed manual gearbox with lifter collar into reverse, which brings on your reverse camera on the Accent unit there. You've got mode, which goes through eco and normal, and then this turns off your traction control. Temperature, and obviously if you push it all the way it goes to max, puts the fans on. Fan speed on off, the demist setting for the front screen, face and feet, recirculation, the air within the vehicle, heated mirrors, aircon, and your heated screen. As it's a Ford, it's got the heated screen, which is a bonus in the winter. Hazard light, 12 volt for 12 volt charger, sat nav, and you do have a USB which connects to this head unit, which I'll go through in a second. And you've got a 12 volt here as well, so should you want to put a dash cam or a sat nav on the screen you can do. And then with this head unit, so you've got navigation, so navigation will work when the navigation card is put in on the side, it's not in a present. You've got radio, which is FM, or you can go to DAB and pick up the DAB channels. Obviously you can press a list, find your local and national stations, so our local are Tyne and Wear as we're in Gateshead. Or you can go to preset and you can preset 6 saved channels. And should you struggle to be finding DAB in your area, you can skip over to FM easily by clicking the button in the right corner. Going back to home, you've got Bluetooth, so if you go onto your device and you find Accent, and this unit is a F72, so if you need to do any updates or find it on your phone, it's a 280, so you just search and it'll find any Bluetooth devices nearby. But you do have to go into your settings and go into your Bluetooth for it to pick up on here. Once you've picked it up, it'll ask you if you want to pair, press pair on the head unit, pair on the phone, and then it'll ask you if you want to download your phone book. Press OK, and then your contacts will come onto the screen as well. You've got music, so should you want to stream from Bluetooth from your phone you can go to music and stream your music over that way. You've got USB and iPod when a USB is connected, and then you've got camera, so you can have the camera on all the time when going forward as a rear view camera. But you do have these, so you've got home, nav, camera, DAB and Bluetooth there, which are all shortcuts, meaning it's easier for the driver. Lockable glove box, and then obviously to black the carb out you'd use your silver screens. This now brings us to the end of the handover on the Tribute F72. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact Tyne Valley Motorhomes on 01207 272 777 or email our sales department at sales@tynevalleymotorhomes.co.uk. Thank you for watching this handover video. I hope this helps.